All right, everybody, welcome back. We got more receivers to look at. We're now down to the round three range in all likelihood. We got quite a few receivers that are currently projected to be round three picks. So let's just go ahead and get into it. We're going to need more than one video to cover them. First guy, we're going to lead off with Isaiah Bond, the other Texas Longhorn receiver. This is certainly the less prolific one at this point, but he still has his own charm. Only 21, so he's one of the younger guys we've looked at so far today. Very small, very, very small, has tiny hands, short arms, not even 10th percentile in weight. So he's very, very lean. And it's to the point where you have to worry about his durability in the NFL. He does have great speed, but it's not hyper elite speed either. 4.39 is very, very good, maybe even great. 1.5, 110 yard split is more than enough, but again, you have to realize there's a trade-off here, right? You've got a player this small, you kind of want something spectacular. The big boards of the big ones, like the major ones that I use, they mostly actually have them in the fourth, but the database has them in the third. So if you pull in the smaller, more independent big boards, it seems to push him up a little bit. I wonder if he's going to end up going lower than expected because those big boards don't update as much, but for now he is projected as a third rounder. Not super productive in college. Obviously, he was trapped behind a lot of really good players, but his best season was 2 years ago, 670 yards, 48 catches. Last year, I think he missed some time, but only having 540 yards in your hammer year, the season where you're really trying to hammer home your value is disappointing. Now, Isaiah Bond has great speed, obviously. He accelerates very quickly as well. So those traits are there in spades. If he's on the field and you are the opposing defense, you have to be scared about him going over the top. You have to be aware of the fact that he could just put on the jets, blow past your defense, and get open deep. He's really hard to handle in the open field. You get him in the open field, he's got great yak skills. His hands are pretty good. And his technique as a route runner is pretty good. He's got little tricks that he can do to separate. He's got the ability to like break off routes fairly cleanly. He's got the ability to hit the stem of his route and kind of box out a defensive back, even though he's not a big guy. Now, the production never really got to where we wanted it to, and there are reasons for that, but he still never had that big breakout year. So we kind of have to be a little bit theoretical with him because he never hit it big here. If you're physical with him, it sure seems like you can eat him up. Like if you try to be physical with him at the line of scrimmage, it's very hard for him to deal with, and he's just too small and too weak. He doesn't have the strength to really handle physicality. He's very small, like I said earlier. He does need to learn how to shift gears when he's running his routes. Right now, he feels like a one-speed guy. He is a technically good route runner, but I feel like there is some stuff he's missing in terms of the ability to shift gears. And he's not going to go get off-target passes the same way other players will because he's a small target. So theoretically, Isaiah Bond could be a very fun player. I don't know if he's going to succeed in the NFL. I know he can be a decoy on vertical routes, and I know that he can be a yak player. He can be somebody you just get the ball in the hands of and get out of the way, and maybe he can be good on returns. But I don't know about beyond that, especially because of the injury concern. So I'd go late third on Isaiah Bond. I don't know. I'm concerned about how small he is. He's just a little too small for me. Okay, next guy, Jack Bech. Jack Bech, TCU. 23 years old. This is a guy that a lot of Seahawks fans have talked about in the last month. I feel like I've seen Jack Beck's name come up a lot with Seahawks fans. Decent size. He's heavier than the average receiver, 214 pounds. Not as big as I thought he was going to be. Like his arms are actually pretty forgettable in length. He didn't do the 40 at the combine. He did the other stuff though. He had a good broad, bad vert, good three cone, which is notable for a guy who's kind of known for being a little bit of a bigger guy. And his bench press was great, which was kind of expected. Big boards mostly put him around the third. PFF puts him in the second. The database puts him in the third. He only has 1 year of big production, but he did put up 1,000 yards in TCU's offense, 62 catches, 9 touchdowns. So the main thing with Jack Bech is his ability to win with physicality at the catch point. He is able to do that Des Bryant stuff where he goes up and gets it. He's able to use his strength. He's able to use his size to win at the catch point. And that is something that he will bring to the table pretty much no matter what. He has great hands. Very rarely does he drop a pass. It feels like he's going to maximize whatever he can get out of his NFL career. He can bully defensive backs to grind out extra yards. He can go get yak by running over defenders. He's got good ball tracking skills. You put the ball up in the air around him, he'll find a way to track it down and catch it. Good skilled route runner. And there is versatility in how he can align. He can line up outside. He can do some stuff on the inside. He's been put in different situations on that TCU offense, and he does very well. Now, he is a little bit on the less athletic side overall, so he doesn't really separate from man coverage very well. He's not somebody who's going to be able to break away from man. Short area quickness is lacking, so his ability to quickly separate just... It's not in his repertoire. Press coverage does have a pretty significant negative effect on him, which is a little disappointing because he's supposed to be a bigger outside guy. And that's another thing, by the way. He's not as big as I thought he would be. I thought he would be at least 6'2". I thought he would be more of a big-bodied target. He is, but not to the degree that I was hoping or even expecting, honestly. Doesn't really have the speed to get open deep, so I don't think he's going to be able to do deep threat stuff in the NFL. And he's only got the 1 year of production. So, Jack Bech, I think he will at least be a good possession receiver. I think he'll be a guy that you can count on to go up and get 50-50 balls. I think he'll be a guy that you can count on to come through. I'm not sure if he's going to be like a game-to-game, snap-to-snap, start every game, play 50 snaps a game, productively stud. Not sure. So I'm going to go late second. I think the floor is high enough to where at the very minimum you're getting a good possession receiver. You're getting somebody that you can use in particular roles and you know he'll come through. I'm just not so sure that I'm spending more than a late second on it yet. I'm not quite there. Okay, so that's Jack Bech. We got one more guy for this video, and it's the other Iowa State guy, Jaylin Noel. Jaylin Noel, Iowa State, 23. He's a very interestingly built prospect. He's small, very small, 5'10", 194 pounds, really short arms, small hands, but he's an athletic phenom. Runs fast, accelerates quick, jumps out of the stadium, 41.5-inch vert, 11-foot 2-inch broad. Those are some of the best jumps you will ever see for any receiver. 3-cone is good. 20-yard shuttles, pretty good. And he cranked out monster bench press numbers. Now, that's a little bit of a meme. It's much easier for him to do that because his arms are short. He's got short arms, so cranking out the bench press reps is easy, but still, it's not totally a meme. There is some real value there. There's something going on with this guy. Most of the big boards have him in the third. That's where he's projected overall. CBS has him in the fifth. They don't like him for some reason. Only has 1 year of big production, but it was a very good year. 1,200 yards, 8 touchdowns, 80 catches in an offense where he's sharing time with Higgins. Really good. So that's the headline here. He's a phenom athlete. Speed and explosiveness off the charts. Short area quickness, eye-popping. His ability to shake free in a small area. His ability to quickly just break open from man coverage, big time. Very dangerous when you get the ball in his hands. Very dangerous once he catches the ball. And also, by the way, he will probably be very valuable as a return man. His ability to build separation is undeniable. And he plays through contact. Like, this is not somebody who's going to melt the second he gets touched. He can play through contact. So that strength does show up, and he plays bigger than his size. So you add in the return value, you've got something good cooking here with Noel. But he is still very small. There's no getting around that. His hands are not where they need to be. He drops too many passes. And because his hands are so small, there's not necessarily a ton he can do with it. I don't know if he'll be able to play outside at the NFL. He did it in college. I don't think he'll be able to do it at the pro level. That seems unreasonable. His routes will need to be better in the NFL. He separates in college mostly because he's really, really fast and explosive. But in the pros, you're going to have to be better. Not going to be able to run block. And he only had the one productive year in college. So he's going to be a lot of fun. Going to be a great playmaker. Going to be really good on special teams. I don't know if he'll be much more than that. I don't know. He could be. I'm worried about him staying healthy. But there's a lot he's got to work on even beyond that to actually make it as a star in this league. He can be fun, but is he going to be a star? I'd go early third on him. I think there is a decent floor here of a playmaker with return man upside. And I do think the upside is remarkable, but he's got a lot to work on. He's got to improve his hands. He's got to improve his routes. He's got to show me what he can actually do as a receiver. Is he going to be a slot guy only? But early third is fine by me. All right. See you guys one more video later today on this, and then the next day is going to be receivers too. See you guys later. Go Hawks.